Hi everybody, my name is Jamie. In this video I'm going to cover everything revealed about Assassin's Creed Valhalla to date, which will be May the 4th by the time this goes out. I'll probably post future videos along a similar format, but just wanted that caveat in there to avoid confusion for anyone watching this in the future. From the top, on the 29th of April, Ubisoft posted Assassin's Creed teaser. This was a live stream with Boss Logic, which ended up lasting just over 8 hours. Over the course of those 8 hours, of which I watched 6, we got to see Boss Logic create a piece of concept art for the next Assassin's Creed game in real time. The process was extremely interesting to watch, and there's actually a stop-motion version that's about 4 minutes long, which I'd highly recommend watching. Of course, you could just watch the 8-hour stream VOD if you want. The music's pretty fantastic. Anyway, at the end of that live stream we got a name and a title card. It explained that the name of the next Assassin's Creed game is Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and the full reveal would come the following day. As someone who got properly invested in that live stream, I audibly yelled with joy when I saw that we were getting a full reveal the next day, but I'll admit I was a little annoyed that the stream didn't end with a trailer, but it was also a pretty cool move on Ubisoft's part. They knew exactly what we were expecting, and they flipped those expectations on their head. So, moving on to the 30th of April, everyone is hyped for the big reveal. I found myself counting down the minutes to the premiere of the trailer on YouTube. Once the seconds were over, we got a brand new 4-minute or so cinematic trailer for Assassin's Creed Valhalla. It showed off Vikings, Norse gods, gruesome battles, and searching for a new life in England. If you haven't seen the trailer, I'd thoroughly recommend it. There's no gameplay spoiler in there, and honestly there's no story spoiler either. Off the back of that, we also got a trailer breakdown from the game's narrative director Darby McDevitt and creative director Ashraf Ismail alongside Ubisoft News. This is another really great video, the details of which I'll be going into now. I'd still recommend watching it because you really get a sense of the passion that these two developers have for the game. I can't imagine how excited the rest of the teams, of which there were 15 if you can believe it, working on the game. One bit of news that we have is about some runes on the official AC Valhalla website. Christophorus on Twitter posted a thread of where they are, and what they mean. It isn't really news, but it's interesting that this exists at all. Darby McDevitt congratulated those who worked on it, so it's definitely real. I only wanted to mention it because it might be a source of news moving forward. I'll include a link to the thread in the description. Finally, we've been told that the first gameplay of Assassin's Creed Valhalla will be shown on the 7th of May, later this week, during the upcoming Inside Xbox event. Since that's when we'll have even more news about the game, I'm going to cap my coverage until that event, though I may do another video before it discussing what I want to see from that gameplay specifically. Following the gameplay reveal, you can expect a slew of videos about Vikings, features in AC Valhalla, and a lot of stuff in between. For now, what else do we know? AC Valhalla will be set in 873 AD, the 9th century. At this point in time, England is made up of a number of kingdoms, each with their own ruler. In the game, we'll explore the kingdom of Wessex, which is where the game's antagonist, Alfred the Great, is king. We'll also get to explore Mercia, Northumbria, and East Anglia at least, though there could be more kingdoms. While no one has gone into the details of the story just yet, we're obviously going to be experiencing a tumultuous time for the Vikings in England. Alfred the Great was known for being one of the biggest opposers of Vikings at the time, and while the Vikings were able to fight off the English, known as Saxons at the time, elsewhere, Wessex put up a much bigger fight. It's been confirmed that there will be both Vikings and Saxon enemies in the game. As such, I think Eivor, the protagonist, and his settlers will be on neutral ground with both to start. Eivor, much like Alexios and Cassandra of AC Odyssey, will most likely be able to kill soldiers from both sides. This could be used to turn the tide of war, making things more favourable for trading or something, but I'm sure we'll find out more about that closer to the game's release. A huge new gameplay feature with AC Valhalla will be the settlement that you as Eivor are responsible for. You'll leave Norway early in the game to settle in England. Once there, you'll be establishing this settlement, which is going to be ever present in the story. In an interview with IGN, which I'll link below, Ashraf Ismail explains that the settlement is a huge new addition for the series. There are a wide variety of buildings to set up, and each one has a specific gameplay purpose. Ismail even went as far as saying that events in the game will come at different points or appear in different ways for you, depending on what buildings you have in your settlement. One last point on settlements. Somehow we will be recruiting people for our own settlements. This could work in a way similar to AC3, with set characters who must be recruited in order to advance the settlement itself, or it could be random based on NPCs in specific areas of the game, sort of like how you recruited ship crew for AC Odyssey. However, this wouldn't be a Viking game without raiding, and that's in there somewhere too. The way Ashraf Ismail explains it is that we'll be able to take Eivor, his longboat, or her longboat, and a raiding party to hit various locations with raids and return before anyone can catch us. From the sounds of it, Eivor's longboat will play a similar role to the Adrestia in AC Odyssey. This is more speculation, but I think we'll be customising it with parts in much the same way, equipping new key crew members as we find them out in the world with those same RPG mechanics attached to them, and customising the ship with colours or actual weapons as well. It won't be as vital as it was in AC Odyssey, considering that game had the Adrestia or your character on foot, but it will still be a large part of the game, I think. Speaking of RPG mechanics, for better or worse, AC Valhalla is another open-world RPG Assassin's Creed game. Expect skill trees and a leap forward in evolution for the elements of AC Origins and AC Odyssey that have made those games so different and fresh. Now let's talk about battles. These have been a big focus in more recent AC games, and that's not changing with AC Valhalla. What sounds like it will be a bit different is the way that battles are approached. Since Eivor is the leader of a settlement, we'll probably be strategizing and planning the attack rather than being a single component in a huge machine of war. It's possible that we'll also get to choose the order in which we attack other settlements too. How that relates to kingdoms, who knows. With battles come gods. The Vikings had a rich pantheon of gods, and I think they're going to play a huge role in the game. This could take the role of making sacrifices for an increased chance in victory, a good crop, or just choosing to build certain structures first in order to avoid being raided thanks to favour from, say, Odin. There's a lot of places that the game could go with this. Really, it's a conversation that I'll save for another video. Let's just say that AC Odyssey went big on gods, so Valhalla should go bigger. To round things off, I want to talk about the Assassins. Darby McDevitt said that Eivor will meet the Assassins, and it's clear from the trailer that he gets a hidden blade. I think that it's brilliant that we get a hidden blade again. It's an iconic part of the franchise and something that almost every Assassin ever has had. I also believe that Eivor will be wary of the Assassins. I'm going to dive deeper into what I think the story of AC Valhalla will be in another video, but right now I'll just say that I think Eivor is going on a journey. We'll start the game as a skeptic, but come to realise the role of the Assassins in the wider world by the game's end. On that note, what will the modern day story for AC Valhalla be? Who bloody knows? I'm not going to open that can of worms. So that's all the concrete news we have on AC Valhalla. I hope there was something you didn't know in there. If there was something that I missed, please let me know in the comments. There are loads of theories to explore about this game, but as with everything else, I'm going to wait until the gameplay reveal later this week before I look into them too deeply. One thing I would like to point out is that a slew of supposed leaks for a game called Assassin's Creed Ragnarok were published a few months ago. These leaks got the Viking setting right, that much I know. I didn't want to ruin anything, so I avoided them at the time, but I have seen mention of co-op and other multiplayer elements from press sites citing these links as the origins of their theory. There has been no evidence in recent news to suggest that AC Valhalla will have any form of multiplayer. However, what Ubisoft did with multiplayer from AC Brotherhood to AC4 was phenomenal, in my opinion. I also loved the co-op angle of AC Unity. I know that AC multiplayer is a massive point of contention among fans, but I wouldn't be sad to see it return. Okay, enough of that. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave me a like if you did, and as I mentioned, just tell me in the comments if I missed anything. I may get a second video up later this week to tell you about what I want to see from the Inside Xbox gameplay reveal. Otherwise, I'll do my next news video on all of the details from the gameplay. See you then.